take a little bit more risk than what you I think looking back, we just do too much planning, and we want to have a tight boundary, oh, I want to have this after this after this. And I think a little bit, I wish I would have taken a little bit more risk. I still would have survived,
Mm-hmm.
We always go into that perfect survival mode, and do not want to have I guess more risk. That restricts our growth.
Yeah. And that is like the personality trait of a physician, of a medical professional, is to mitigate as much risk as possible. So it's interesting that and I hear it a lot, we've got to take risk. We've got to take action, in order to get there. Welcome to the Real Estate Mogul MD podcast. Thanks for tuning in and taking control of your financial future. This is a show where we not only motivate and inspire, we give you actionable, real-world experience to help you live life by design. You'll hear journeys and stories from other physicians, investors, coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Brett Riggins. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Snehal Sonawane, a pathologist, AI and digital health innovator, and real estate investor. From training in India to leading in digital pathology and informatics here in the US, she's also exploring real estate as wealth building strategy for physicians. We dive into her journey, financial lessons, and how doctors can start thinking about financial independence beyond medicine. Here we go. Snehal, this is the time. How does it feel right now to be Snehal?
I'm excited. I'm super excited to be on the podcast, basically. And as I said, this is just the only second time I have been on the podcast. Yeah. But thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for having me. And I'm really excited to dive in the conversation.
Yes. I am grateful for your preparation up to this moment. It helps me prepare for the conversation. And I want to give this a little shout out to the listeners as well, too. Why we do this is to share our experiences. And it's so amazing that we're so grateful that you're coming onto the show, because this is not something you do all the time. But I'm excited about our conversation and where it will lead, and how it may bring knowledge, experience, and opportunity for the listeners as well, too. So what do you say we just get right into this conversation and just start from there? So you've had an incredible journey from training in India to leading the digital pathology and AI here in the States. What inspired you to take this path?
It's as you said, it's interesting journey. And to be very honest, I never thought that I will be coming to United States and doing all of this stuff. So I'm incredibly grateful for all the opportunities which has come in the way, Mm-hmm. As you pointed out, I have born and brought up in India, a small town, and my father, he's a gynecologist, and he, my passion to the medicine has been influenced by him. I have seen him dedicate his career, entire career to patient care, and also with compassion, and especially, as I said, in rural India. So that has inspired me to pursue career in medicine. And I did my med school in India, followed by a residency in pathology in India. He did gynecology, but I was more, intrigued towards the basic science part of it. And that's the reason I chose to go in pathology. And after doing my residency in India, my life took a different turn. And I was like, okay, I want to learn more about this field and, expand my expertise. So I landed up in United States. And when I just came, I did a little bit of research. I came as a research scholar. And I did research in corneal neurobiology lab, and my research was mainly involved in dry eye disease and mechanisms of dry eye disease, and it was more of a translational type of research. And believe me, it was like completely different. I used to read what is a PCR in books in India. I never got like first-hand experience to do or see what PCR is. And here, literally, I was doing all the bench work and seeing all those technology like working in play. So yeah, that was incredible experience, led to some publications and some groundbreaking research. But then at the same time, I was missing my clinical work. So I'm like, okay, I want to go back to residency here again in order to do my, clinical work. Then I did pathology residency over here again at University of Illinois at Chicago, followed by a fellowship at Loyola University Medical Center in Chicago. And after that, I landed up in private practice. And I think mainly during my fellowship, I came across some projects where I was doing digital pathology, and COVID hit during that time. And that was the time I had more time to explore some more stuff. And I had some projects which were aligned with digital pathology. And that's where I'm like, okay, this is going to be future. So I took a small course in informatics, and I really loved it. And the intersection of the pathology, the digital pathology, and AI. So I'm like, okay, I want to learn more about it. So then I did master's in informatics. And since then, I have been very involved in learning more of digital pathology and how it can help, not only just in the diagnostic perspective for the pathologist, but also in prognostic predictive markers and biomarkers development, using digitalized images of the pathology slides. So yeah, it's been great.
That's amazing. And there's so much in the technology, the informatics, that piece I want to jump into. But first, I hear this journey, and you're a lot like so many other physicians focus entirely on medical work, whether it is the technology piece in casework, in lab. When did you start thinking about financial independence and diversifying income?
I think the financial dependence was as you said, I was really very focused on my career, really very focused, and never thought much about financial independence. I think I really started thinking about it when I got into my private practice and started getting real salary check. I'm like, okay, I want to now look into how I can be financially stable, think about retirement and all of those things. And I think it's kind of not fair that we have never been taught formally about investment portion or how to do financial management. And I'm still in really very learning phase of it. I think retrospectively, I should have started a little bit earlier. But it's never too late, right?
It is never too late. And I always say, I say this so much, the best time to plant a tree is now, or 20 years ago, and now. It's that now is always the best time. So that's congratulations on getting that start. And the self-realization piece in personal development is a huge piece. Realizing where you're at, where you want to go, who you want to become is all a piece of that. So it's a great time to start. And just to the listeners out there who may be 4 years earlier than where they're at in their career, where you are, start now, right? Start then.
Exactly. Really. Yeah.
Make then now, right? Just start now. Tell me a little bit about maybe the difference between perspective when it comes to financial independence and diversifying income. Maybe it's a culture thing between the two spots, India and United States. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen.
Yeah, like in India, I think more of it is like, um, first of all, our parents, like, it's, I do not want to say like in American culture, the parents are not caring, but in India, I think they take care of us like from our education portion, and then they will be like, okay, I will help you get a house. I'll help you settle down, like, that kind of thing. In American culture, it is little bit of more independence for the kids. And I think they develop habits of financial management or like, taking care of their own finances sooner in their life as compared to Indians. We get too much pampered, I guess, in that perspective back home, which is good thing, I guess, here. And here, I think another thing is even for house, like when we buy car, like everything goes by like a credit, and then you get loan, and then you pay off by yourself, like in India, I think back home, like, oh, we buy a house, we want to pay it off as soon as possible. We buy a car, we want to pay cash and buy a car. Like, we cannot be taking loans. And that's kind of like a taboo kind of thing. It's changing now. But when I was growing up, it's always was like that, and I think in America, it is good that, it allows you, like, if you have like good credit and everything, it allows you to take bigger challenges, and you can tackle slowly by yourself, and it gives you more independence in doing things. But that's just my perspective, I guess.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, the family perspective, and then also the debt perspective. There's good debt and there's bad debt.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about velocity, it can be in a good direction or a bad direction. So you just have to make sure that you know what an asset is and what a liability is. I mean, it comes down to that. You've mentioned in the past that you someone interested in real estate investing. What draws you to real estate investing as a wealth building strategy?
I think, like, that perspective came in from like when I was doing residency. We got our first house. It is just an apartment. But like that's where we always lived. And the reason to buy apartment was during that time, again, it comes from like, my cultural thing. Like when I first came to United States, I was in apartment. It was a rental. And they were like, okay, you cannot put nails down in the wall, or you cannot paint this color to this wall. And I'm like, it's just like, maybe I always lived in my own house back home. And it was just like, I don't know how to explain. It was just nothing like, I thought of like, I cannot paint my wall with my like color of liking, So, that's why I'm like, okay, we are buying a house, like, I can't be like this. That's when we bought a small apartment, just 2-bedroom. When I was doing residency, just like, that's what we were using. And then now we bought like a bigger house now with the kids and family growing up. And we did not sell off that apartment. We are renting that apartment. And I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a passive income. Like and we paid off that apartment. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, this is something we should have done. Like, you're more vigorously, and it gives a passive income. And I think that perspective is coming from that experience. That's the reason I think, real estate would be something good to think about as a passive income.
Yeah. And I could say there's stackable returns there. So beyond just the cash flow, there's other ways that you actually bring value to yourself doing that.
Yeah.
As long as you're managing it correctly. Yes, that's
correct. Yes.
And a lot of people, I mean, have what I've heard called like the accidental landlord piece, where you've lived in a place and you moved on and you've accidentally become a landlord because you have somebody moving in your place. But it's a great introduction to the real estate world.
Exactly.
Now, how do you balance your medical career with exploring real estate and other investment opportunities?
Like apart from like, that apartment, and like I do little bit of like stocks. I have been learning about stocks. It's too much to learn about, and I'm not a finance or like math
Yeah.
person. So I'm a biology person. So it's beyond my expertise, but I try to explore, and like I learn some from YouTube videos and try to play around with a little bit here and there on Robinhood app, but that's all I do. And some bonds. Yeah.
Interesting. For other physicians looking to start building passive income, what has been some of the easiest ways that you found to begin, just to start?
Just to start, I think, start saving for yourself first, pay yourself first. Like, I always like, whenever my paycheck comes in, I always make sure that like, I put given amount in my a separate account, like it just goes and saves there. And that's easiest, I think, thing to do, and just forget about it, or like put it in like CD or put somewhere where it grows automatically and you don't have to look at it. I think that's the easiest thing to do. Otherwise, if we just see a lot of money and we start doing stuff, then that's the first. Second one, I guess, I think, start looking into, like, if you have a good sum of money which is saved, start looking into like smaller investments, like buying apartment or something like that. I think it's kind of scary at times just to like go into realist investment and all, but I think it's not that bad. I think the systems over here are pretty straightforward and pretty transparent. That makes it easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And surrounding yourself with the right people
That's
that
right.
have the experience that you're looking for, who maybe become that person that you are looking to become. Those are great ways to kind of mitigate some of that risk, right? And not coattail invest, not click on a YouTube link and think, hey, this person is selling me this, then I can go do this. So watching out for those things. But at some point, yes, you have to get over the analysis paralysis and take action.
Yep.
Action is one of the key things that helps us change an idea into reality, right?
100%.
What's it, abracadabra, thinking something into fruition.
Yep.
Now you mentioned that you made the comment that you're not a math person, and we're using air quotes here, which is interesting because you specialize in informatics, right? And there's more than letters in that. There's numbers in that too, right? There's in that type of data analysis. So the interesting piece there is some of the coolest pivots I've made in my life and my career so far have just been 1 degree pivots. So I can take this and pivot this. Is there a potential that you could use what you're leveraging or learning in digital pathology and AI and somehow create this velocity for yourself in investing potentially in real estate?
That's a great question, actually. Like, the one tangent I can take it like from digital pathology and informatics from here is like, my interest towards the pathology, I think it's coming from, it's like, it's a very visual field, like, we need to be like, we look at the pictures basically, and it's a pattern recognition. We look at like, pink and blue images, different stains, colors, and put those patterns together to come to a diagnosis, right? So it's similarly, my other interest is in interior designing, So,
Interesting.
Well, and I think it's kind of connected to that. Like,
that's why you want to paint your own wall, your color, and put
nails. Yeah, exactly. Like, So, and I think, if I have to connect these two dots together, maybe like, if I have to really build like the real estate portfolio or something like that, maybe I can put in my expertise in that portion of it where I can make the homes beautiful, maybe, that's something I have thought a little bit about, but I won't entertain that idea completely because of lack of time due to my commitments to my, like, work and family responsibilities for now at least. But I think that tangent I can definitely I think it's worth exploring that area. And second would be the informatics, data analytics. On the informatics side, I'm not much intrigued into like a data analytics portion of it. I'm more into how I can make better use of the laboratory information systems, the workflows and all of that. And that can be, I think, tied to how the houses can the workflows, how it should flow from one
Systems and
room to other
processes.
room, and
Yeah.
how we can make it function better, not just look beautiful, but function better.
Okay. So the actual layout of the house, that's what you're seeing. How do the function and flow of that, not the systems and processes in
Yeah.
a renovation or a company. Okay. I see. I understand. Hey, so what's next for you in real estate? Like what are you eyeballing right now? What's piquing your interest right now in real estate?
I think for real estate now, I guess we just got like a house, as I said, and I think with that little bit of experience with that condo, maybe in near future I might look into buying another apartment or something. When I get I feel like okay, I'm in control with paying off one loan, maybe I can look into some of those options, I guess. Small steps, not the huge.
Slow and steady.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because a lot of people talk about scaling and units and doors, and you just got to be careful because you can, just like debt, there's good debt and there's bad debt. When you add velocity to it, it's going to speed up. So if you're scaling, what a lot of us don't realize is that we could also scale problems, right? We could scale good things or we could scale bad things. So
yeah, exactly. Because as you have rightly mentioned, right, the accidental landlord thing, because it comes with a lot of responsibilities. It's just not taking care of the tenants and moving them in, moving them out, So, and with busy busy professional life, it becomes difficult. We are also have thought of giving it to just a management system, but we recently started doing that, so still exploring.
So if you could go back 5 years with the experience and the knowledge that you have now, and you could set beside somebody who's maybe on the same path as you, so not change your path, but if you could set beside somebody who is where you were 5 years ago, what would you tell them? And I know you talked about looking at financial knowledge or experience sooner. You wish that had happened, but what would you tell that person who's maybe 5 years earlier than where you're at right now in regards to real estate or investing?
Take risks.
Take risks. Interesting.
Yeah, take a little bit more risk than what you I think looking back, we just do too much planning, and we want to have a tight boundary, oh, I want to have this after this, and I think a little bit. I wish I would have taken a little bit more risk. I still would have survived. We always go into that perfect survival mode, and do not want to have I guess more risk. That restricts our growth.
Yeah. And that is like the personality trait of a physician, of a medical professional, is to mitigate as much risk as possible. So it's interesting that and I hear it a lot, we've got to take risk. We've got to take action, in order to get there. Wow. It's just been a great conversation, Snehal. If the listeners want to learn more about what you're doing, whether it's in digital pathology or in AI, how you're linking this stuff together, how in the world do they find you?
Oh, how the world is going to find me?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have with that passion of digital pathology, I have developed a small website. It's pathpixel.net. And the idea behind developing that was helping other people or people in pathology especially to find the right resources for going digital. Because like since COVID, as I said, like, the pathology world has moving more towards the digital because of the, it's like, so many benefits of like, you can remotely look at your slides, telepathology consultations, and then on top of that, the AI piece. But everybody wants to go there, but then with such a rapid development, there are so many technologies coming off so fast. Lot of algorithms, lot of companies coming with their algorithms, lot of scanners, like, digital pathology scanners, which scans the whole slides, then different image management system, lot of technology. And then people are like, okay, what do I buy? What is going to fit my solution or my lab? People are struggling in that area. So I think that was the, like, main motivation to put all these resources together at one place where people can go and find, okay, these are the resources, and these, like, there I have put like some filters and some options to choose and pick from, what depending on their needs. So that's just basically a resource. I put sometimes blogs over there, like, as the time permits. So it will be just a guidance for the people who want to go digital.
That's awesome. And that's pathpixel.net. Check it out for digital pathology and the AI, kind of like combining. This is that pivot thing that we were talking about, finding that group and helping others. And when you can link that passion to a solution to help others, it's a win-win situation. So Snehal, thank you so much for your time today. Enjoyed the conversation, and best wishes in your journey and that next real estate investment that you're thinking about. And when it happens, take action. Yeah, sure. Yep. Looking forward to that. Hey, another great conversation here on the Real Estate Mogul MD. Just goes to show sharing our experiences is a great way to grow together. Thanks to Dr. Sonawane again for coming on the show. Here are some key takeaways I threw in the old storage bucket along the way. Physicians should start saving and investing early. Don't wait until later in your career. I hear this a lot. I feel bad that I shouldn't learn. Somebody should have taught me. Well, it's all our own responsibility to grab that now. Start now. Real estate can be a great passive income stream, but start small and learn along the way. Take more calculated risks. Too much caution can slow down financial growth. If you're interested in digital pathology, AI, or even starting that financial independence, check out pathpixel.net, pathpixel.net, and you can connect with Snehal there and learn a little bit more about what she's going on. What's her 1 degree pivot? Thank you again for listening. This is the Real Estate Mogul MD.